Ritual and Remedy RX. Trauma of the earth, breath of the body, spirit awakening with Dr. Janelle Clayton. Medicine flows through bone and breath, through rules and rhythm. Remember your body, remember your medicine, remember who you are. Ritual and Remedy RX, where healing becomes ceremony.
Welcome back to Ritual and Remedy, the podcast where science meets spirit, healing meets humanity, and we explore the practices, people, and possibilities that help us reconnect with ourselves and each other. I'm your host, Dr. Janelle, psychedelic integration practitioner, Reiki master, chiropractor, and founder of Ritual and Remedy. Today's conversation is one I've been looking forward to because we're exploring a question that sits at the heart of healing. How do we create space where transformation can unfold safely? And with deep respect for both science and ancient wisdom. Joining us today is Dave Naftalin, founder and CEO of the Academy of Intrinsic Studies, the first state-licensed psilocybin facilitator training program in Oregon. Dave's journey from serving as a firefighter and a paramedic to becoming a leader in the psychedelic education field has given him a unique perspective on trauma, resilience, and remarkable capacity of the human mind to heal. Welcome, Dave.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So I want to know a little bit who Dave is without the titles. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and what exciting, extraordinary things have brought you here today?
I would love to, and honestly, I'd like to drop all the titles. I don't like any of that stuff, right? So I have lived the human experience, which in itself is traumatic. And my path towards where I've gotten today has been an interesting one. As right out of high school, I lost 5 of my best friends over a 18-month period from 5 very random incidents, and that was highly traumatic for me. And from there, I became a park ranger, which was doing law enforcement, medic, wildfire fighting, and so saw and did a lot of things which kind of compounded onto more traumas, and really started imploding and started to try to figure out how to heal. And did that through reckless self-medicating, which didn't work. And through traditional therapy, of course. And then eventually started finding psychedelics, certainly not in the legal capacity a couple decades ago, to try as a tool to help me on my journey. And I want to make this really clear too, there is no cure-all, there is no fix-all, right? And anything is just a tool in the toolbox or a piece of the mosaic. And certain psychedelics, specifically psilocybin, really allowed me to tap into myself and figure out that that really we are the ones that can heal ourselves. There are a lot of people that can be trained to create a container, a safe space, and be able to facilitate that healing. But they're not the healers. We're the healers of ourselves. And that's a very empowering feeling when you're able to get past the symptoms that you're experiencing on a daily basis and really start diving into the root causes. And in my opinion, I am certainly not a medical professional like you, but in my opinion, so much of our physical and our emotional and our mental pain is emotionally based. And when it's stays inside of us, and society tells us to be tough and to not talk about it, or just to keep pushing through. I believe over time that manifests in different areas of the body and can really affect it, like physical pain, emotional pain, sicknesses, autoimmunes. I mean, these are just my opinions, right? A little fringy, I guess, on that. But you start looking up autoimmunes, and you look that up on the through NIH and stuff like that, and cause unknown, cause unknown, cause unknown, right? So I just feel that, and don't get me wrong, Western medicine, amazing, absolutely amazing. Physical trauma, best thing out there, right? If my guts are hanging out of me, like, I'd like to see a surgeon. I don't think I want to go to therapy right then and there. But on the emotional side of things, we're behind. We're behind on the Western side, and there's been, at least now, we're trying to create that bridge with the sacred and the ceremonial that's been around for thousands of years, and bring this new amazing research on the Western side, which is awesome, but also honor the plants, where they come from, the lineages, the indigenous cultures, and see how and why they've been so successful for generation after generation. So that's really the reason that my business partner and I, Kathleen Bruce, founded the Academy of Intrinsic Studies. It wasn't the first educational program in Oregon. I want to be clear about that. There was a couple before us. I went through one of them because I was one of the first licensed facilitators through Oregon and in the nation. And the schools, they're great. I have nothing bad to say about them. After my process and my journey through, what I realized was that I thought that there could be more behind it, more than just, if here's the tuition fee, and if you pay it and you show up, here's a certificate and you are licensed to practice. That scares the heck out of me. Right? This is so important. And just because you have a certificate doesn't mean that you're ready. And any of these programs, I'm going to be honest, 150 hours is not enough to have someone be a professional and ready for what's going to happen in these highly vulnerable states. There is nothing, I don't think there's a more vulnerable state than a psychedelic session that's either one-on-one or in a group capacity, where you go through hours of preparation before the actual administration session, and most importantly, hours of integration afterwards. And that's the most important part, is the integration, because you can have these aha experiences, and you might have a lot of them. And then how do you implement these experiences into your day-to-day life? Because then we're talking about breaking habits, breaking chains, breaking cycles, breaking patterns. And you can have these moments of, I know exactly what I need to do it. And then we default back into, well, that's hard, or I tried and it didn't work. And having that integration is really the most important tool in order to be able to move through the traumas or whatever's there to get to the emotional root cause. And in my opinion, and there's a big space between the heart and the mind, and it's just clearing the muck, and it's always clearing that muck. It's nonstop, and it's not fun. It can be at times, and it can be beautiful and terrifying, but it's a necessary process for emotional health.
And Dave, you mentioned a few things about nature, healing, the plant helpers. So for our listeners that aren't really familiar with some of these terms, can you kind of go a little bit deeper into just or maybe a defining moment where you really saw nature as part of our human experience and shifting more towards natural medicine and natural healing techniques?
Absolutely. So, it was really Probably my first psychedelic experience, and in that experience, what was being shown to me was this interconnectedness, this web of interconnectedness between every living aspect, every living thing on this planet, and more, and how the path that I was on, so dedicated to my studies, to university, to career, and in front of a screen and thinking I need to just keep bettering myself by doing what I need to do, learning, instead of getting outside, getting my feet into the ground, and honestly just breathing, taking time to get outside and get into nature. And I know that sounds silly, and it might even sound a little hocus pocus, hippy dippy. I'm not a hippie, just want to put that out there. But there is so much benefit that I was able to see of just putting down the work for a few minutes every single day and getting outside, listening, breathing, and feeling.
And now, people talk about grounding, all these things, are kind of like wellness trends now, but even just a couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, this would have seemed so bizarre to people to say, oh, I need to go outside. I need to connect with Mama Earth. I need to feel what it feels like to be human. So that's really beautiful. And I think that will help people understand more of how to integrate what you were talking about.
Well, and another thing on that too is if it's uncomfortable to go outside into nature and to spend that time, and your mind is just spinning, what am I doing? Why am I? I'm still thinking about everything else while I'm out there. I encourage folks, dive into the uncomfortable, sit outside in the silence. And when you actually can clear your mind, maybe when you're outside in nature too, it's not as silent as you think. There's a lot going on there, and there's a lot to listen to. And when you're actually hearing that, I think that that's just taking a step forward of being of presence, right? And being able to be present in nature. Then you can take that inside and be present, with work, in relations, family, pets, whatever it is. And I think all of it is just a constant lesson of being present. Because living in the past, living in the future, while it can serve you well at times, it also could be quite dangerous.
Something you mentioned too, I just wanted to share on a personal level, the idea of being okay with discomfort, especially when it comes into like kind of a natural medicine, and even just being a chiropractor, that was such a big shift for me on a personal level of being like, oh, maybe I'm going to feel a little bit worse before I feel better, or, oh, when these feelings come up, it's not so scary. They need to come up, it's kind of a pruning, and part of being a healthy person is to kind of feel these points of discomfort. In psychedelics, it comes up in so many ways, really. So I'm glad you're talking about that. So I feel like sometimes with psychedelics, people think, I'm going to feel great. And sometimes there's a lot of garbage to clear out.
Yeah, but I can guarantee with psychedelics is you'll feel something,
Yeah, you'll feel something.
And it's really, and this is where, the regulated space is important. And don't get me wrong, there's room for the unregulated space too. It's just about wherever people feel safe and have access. Okay. I'm not saying one is going to be better than the other. Mm-hmm. I'm practicing fully in the regulated space because it's providing access to folks that want that regulation to feel safe. And it's to be able to create those containers is incredibly important. Now, it's really interesting in the regulated space because you spend so much time on the preparation side of it. So you're meeting with folks and you're getting to know them deeply about intentions of why they're coming here, things that they want to work on, histories, all of this. And a lot of that helps prepare for people that are scared. A lot of the times, and people say, "I'm scared of having a bad trip." Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's a legitimate fear. Okay, mm-hmm. But with these preparation sessions and then the actual administration and with the integration, I personally haven't had someone have a bad trip. And typically, a bad trip is one of a few things. It's usually maybe you're out and about, social scene, music, whatever, unexpected, decide to do psychedelics, right? Well, if you're not prepared to look at yourself in the mirror and deal with some stuff, and that's going to be uncomfortable, well, that could be interpreted as a bad trip. The other is the set and the setting. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and all of a sudden you're getting hit with this opportunity to dive in deep emotionally, and it's the wrong place, that is highly uncomfortable, and that's a bad trip too, right? So, and then it's really interesting too, if you talk to people a couple weeks later, after they've actually had some time to integrate, they might say, well, maybe that wasn't that bad. I just was completely unprepared to deal with myself. Because psychedelics, what they do, what it does is you dive into the abyss of yourself to find the treasure. The treasure is always you. And it's just being able to go through that muck. And that's the brilliance of it. You get to the root cause of whatever symptoms have been showing up in your life.
I've noticed, like, the first responders I've met and I've worked with, like, I have one guy, he's a firefighter and a nurse, he teaches CPR, meeting people like you and a few chiropractors, they were in the first responders before they became chiropractors. You guys have such an innate way of creating that space and presence with people because you're kind of trained to do that. But I feel like that also means so much. And so what are some ways people, I know if some people are listening to sign up for the course and learn more about becoming a practitioner, and then some people just want to know like what they can do to create more safe space, in their daily lives or in their integration. You have anything to say about that or tips?
Absolutely. So first of all, just like first responders in general, they are, in my opinion, they're great participants in healing for this. But being facilitators, they're some of the hardest ones to train because as a facilitator, a lot of times you're learning when not to step in. And as first responders, you are running towards it and taking control, right? As a facilitator, you have to trust the process. You have to trust the medicine, and you have to really be in tune. And when it is time for you to gently step in, maybe redirect and do something. And that is the hardest part with first responders and also licensed therapists as well, who get into this. So it's awesome to have it. And there's a bit of unlearning in that certain space for those types of folks. The second part that you're talking about is education, just getting educated about psychedelics. And luckily now there is just a plethora of research out there. And if folks are looking for really great Western research, Johns Hopkins has decades of research on psilocybin, Yale, Stanford, the Harvard. I mean, it's mind blowing. There's so much out there right now. NYU has some of the most amazing research out there as well. And none of this is new. So anyone can Google or they can hop on their favorite AI search engine, whatever they're doing, and get good sources and read about this. They can geek out on the medical level. They can read much more layman terms as far as the Western research side. And then when it comes to more on the ceremonial side of it too, that access is a lot harder to find, but it's there and you can still find that. A good way to do that is, research schools that are out there. Look at the staff, the faculty, the wisdom keepers that are there. And oftentimes you can find them and reach out to them and start asking questions. And that's the best part of this is just be curious. ask questions, because there is a stigma out there. Reefer madness, there's just so much out there about psychedelics. This is your brain on drugs. All the propaganda that was out there for so long to teach us to stay away. It worked. It did its job. And now even the government is saying, you know what, we may have messed that up pretty good. There's, I think, 37 states right now that have either passed or have legislation that is on track to being passed for psychedelics. And the federal pendulum right now is swinging so incredibly fast, which has been really amazing to see. This is a cool thing too. I just got to say, we are in a time in this country where politically it seems that there is just this massive division, which causes grief and frustration and anger and resentment, and it's gross. And there's disagreement on everything, basically, except this part of the industry. Psychedelics on the political level detached itself from cannabis very quickly, because that will always be associated with the war on drugs. And it attached itself to mental health and veterans. And red, blue, green, purple, whatever, people seem to be behind mental health, first responders, veterans. The other part I want to say on that is, I talk to a lot of people and they say, well, I'm not a veteran and I'm not a first responder and I haven't experienced that type of trauma. So is this therapy for me? And my answer is, if it's safe and you go through the process and it's deemed safe for you, this is for anyone that has the courage and is willing and is able to be vulnerable to dive into themselves. You don't have to have experienced war to go into this. The human experience itself is traumatic. We all have our traumas, experiences. They are not comparable. And, the medicine does not discern who you are or where you come from. It's there and it's coming ferociously out of the jungles to be a tool to assist us.
So I want to talk a little bit about your academy. You named it the Academy of Intrinsic Studies, which is a beautiful name. What does intrinsic mean to you as you speak about this kind of emerging from within, this healing that's emerging from within?
It's a good question. Yeah, Kathleen and I came up with that. I'm going to give her the credit for that name, actually, for sure. I think that was all her. But intrinsic is inward. So it's like we keep saying, it's diving into yourself to make yourself your best self so that you can show up for people at a higher level, right? We always try, I think as a society, we try to, it's a lot easier to get out there and help others. And it's really hard to help ourselves. Mm-hmm. So this work is doing the work personally and internally, so that you can really show up for primarily yourself first, and then outwardly after the intrinsic part for the people you care about the most, whether that be family, friends, or clients in a professional setting.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a little bit about the school, right? So it took us 2 years to build this because we wanted to do it right. Kathleen comes from almost 2 decades on the university level, vice president of instructional design. So we wanted to create a school that was much more than Zoom meetings and emails, because that's what a lot of them were like. And we wanted to create a school that's going to do continuing education, because there's so many states that are coming on with different types of psychedelic treatments, ibogaine, ayahuasca, DMT. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we, as far as the curriculum, I again, in my opinion, but I believe I can say this with full confidence, there is no curriculum that's been designed with more intention and robustness than what Kathleen and her instruction team has put together. They have hit this from all angles, and they've made sure that as the school is built, that there's student services, there's faculty services, there's continuing support after this. This isn't a one and done type program. This is a school that is made to be built and continue to be built, and have lots of different facets to this. And we took a long time to do that, to make sure to do it right. And so our first cohort, we ran very small at 5 students because we wanted to make sure to see how it goes, work the kinks out. There's always kinks. And the next cohort that we're enrolling is starting September 7th. And we want to bring that one to about 10 to 15 students. And that's really the sweet spot for us in general. I think you learn a lot from group dynamics, and it's really important to have a group that's in there. And that's for Colorado. People, it's really interesting though, people that are signing up for this, not all of them are from Colorado. They're from all sorts of different states. We got people from all over. One, because they want to learn about it and they can get certified in Colorado. But then a lot of states that are coming online, the people that are going through it, reciprocity has been a big thing. So far, the 2 legal states, Oregon and Colorado, they have reciprocity with each other, right? So if you pass one, then you can just take a test in the other one and get dual licensure. So folks are taking these courses now. So as other states come online, like Texas, which will be coming online soon, New Mexico, which is coming online at the beginning of 2027. They're doing it now to kind of get ahead of it and say, hey, I already have my training, and bring it into the next state as well. So, and we plan on going into every single state that allows the legal education. And we just do the educational part of this, just so you know. We don't actually have natural medicine. We do the education part, and then we have partners in the states that are also state certified, where they have a practicum after they practice with us, and they go there as a group, and then they have the option to experience the medicine both as a client, as a facilitator, and do all of it over a week period of time with amazingly trained folks from different lineages, different Western backgrounds, and it's been really exciting to see.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So as psychedelic, care expands, what opportunities do you see to make it more accessible and also culturally responsive and really honoring those indigenous wisdom?
Yeah, great question. Getting the word out, number one, like this. So thank you. Getting people just more education that, that this is out there and that it is effective and it's incredibly safe, as long as there aren't contraindications, and that's all figured out during those preparation processes. And also, to make this accessible financially, right? So that's one of the biggest things, at least for us at the Academy of Intrinsic Studies, is we bring the tuition down as low as we possibly can, but then we teamed up with Klarna so people can make monthly payments and don't have to pay all this stuff up front, which is kind of crazy in my mind. We've been able to, Klarna, I guess it's based really on each person depending on their personal financial situations and stuff like that. But I can say we've had students go through paying as little as, $370 a month, something like that, opposed to a $7,000 bill up front. So continuing to try to make partnerships in the banking industry as well, trying to build a fund, which we would love to do, so we could offer scholarships for folks, and trying our best to get this into all communities. This needs to be for every person, every race, every gender, everybody. Everybody deserves access, and we're doing everything we can to do that. I sit on the board for psychedelic medicines and therapies. And that's one of the biggest things as well, is creating this standardized test for medical professionals, and making sure that this is accessible to all. So it is a huge passion and driving force for us to get this out there to anyone and everyone who wants the ability to experience this.
Okay, so since the name of the podcast is Ritual and Remedy, I wanted to know, what are some of your rituals to help you stay grounded, and what are some of your remedies that you practice?
On a daily basis?
Daily, or just whatever helps you?
Yeah. I mean, so a big thing is getting outside a little bit every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. I actually put it in my calendar, go outside. So I make sure to do that, and unplug when that's happening. Don't go outside and still be working on my phone, right?
Yeah.
I like to spend time with animals that I love. I try to get a little bit of meditation in when I can. I used to do it a lot more than now, and talking to you now, I'm like, yep, I need to start doing that a lot more. Movement is big, and that doesn't mean hitting the gym hard. Just walking, gently walking, moving the body. I'm sure as a chiropractor, you could speak highly to this, but I feel like if we don't use it, we start losing it, in that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So just lots and lots of movement. And for me too, it's nutrition. Knowing what we're putting into our body, and being aware of that. And those are, and journaling. Oh, that's a good one too. And that used to be hard for me, because finding a journal and writing it and all that, I got to be honest, I've been really loving voice dictation for journaling. So there's just a little program, hit a button, just start talking. And that seems to really help me. And then I can read that later and say, oh, I want to dig into that part a little bit deeper. Why am I feeling this way? And when possible, always having a support person or community network, whatever people have. I'm fortunate enough to have a partner that is really in tune with my unique weirdness. And I can talk to her about anything and everything. I'll always say, hey, and have a check-in. Hey, are you available? I think that's really important, for any conversation that you're going to have. Are you available to have a conversation about this? And if the answer is no, great. We'll figure out a time when to do it. But just being able to not hold it all inside. So any possible ways that can help with that too.
Oh, those are some really good ones. Okay.
Oh, also regular chiropractor appointments. I just started doing regular chiropractic again over the past month, and it has it's really started to change my life again. I was with the same chiropractor for 12 years, 15 years, and then I just stopped. For a bunch of reasons, and then I got called recently to it, and it's a different approach and a different everything about it's different, and it feels like bringing that circuit back together.
Yeah, there's some really amazing chiropractors I know in Bend, and so I feel like you'll get really good care. Are you doing the NSA one, are you doing the spinal wave, or do you know what technique?
I don't know the technique, but I can tell you it's Chiron, CHIRON chiropractic, and they have a great website. I'd love for you to look it up and let me know what you think. They are phenomenal, and the mentorship and the training programs that they've gone through, and this approach that they're doing is unlike anything that I've been familiar with. So it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna look at, because I'm in Washington State, but Oregon has a chiropractic school, so any state that has a school has, I think, better docs close by. So
makes sense. Yeah.
And I like to get adjusted by different people. Just it's like a learning itself too. So that's really great. Yeah. I also noticed part of the integration for myself when I've had some psychedelic ceremonies is getting adjusted after to also tonify
Mm.
the vagal pathways, brainstem.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It is like, right. It's all pieces of the mosaic. Like all of
Yeah.
these things go together. They work together. It's all interconnected. And I couldn't agree more. And I have been missing that piece for sure myself. And I'm so glad to be integrating it back into my life.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And thanks for inspiring that too. You know, when we got to talk a couple months ago, it was such a beautiful conversation. And it was really after talking to you, I was like, you know, I'm missing that piece again, and started thinking about it. And then it was really happenstance, kind of walking by, got really drawn to someone and started talking. Oh, of course, there happens to be a chiropractor. And I just decided to trust, and it's been great.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So those are some amazing ritual remedies. If you could leave like the audience with one message, I mean, you've left us with so many gems about healing. But if you could leave one last message, what would it be?
Yeah. I would say breathe and trust, like put your hand over your heart, breathe, and just know that we are perfectly imperfect, and that there's so much healing that is available within ourselves. And whenever you're stuck, and that whenever you're stuck, because I get stuck all the time, everybody gets stuck. And when you're stuck, reach out, because there's a whole lot of different methods out there. And when you start combining them, you can start to really realize that you are your biggest healer. You're your biggest advocate. You're your biggest support. And your own capacity to heal yourself is truly remarkable.
Dave, thank you so much for sharing your journey, wisdom, and the important work you do. Your commitment to ethical facilitation, education, and creating spaces where people can heal with integrity is helping shape the future of this field.
Well, thank you. It's like an honor and a pleasure. If people want to check out the school's website, it's just intrinsicstudies.com. And we're going to be enrolling for that September 7th class. We're starting now. And if anyone's interested, you know, just there's a 5-minute application on there. And we're always available just to talk and just like talking about the industry. So thank you for being you and everything that you do. You're awesome. You're amazing. The best smile ever. And I'm so grateful to be on your show. And thank you everyone for listening. And just we're available if you want to talk.
You guys want to talk, find Dave. And I'm going to put, if you're watching this on Substack, there'll be a section where you can contact him directly. I'll have your contact information there. Well, thank you to everyone that's listening and spending time with us today. If this conversation resonates with you, please subscribe, leave a review, share this episode with someone who's curious about healing, consciousness, psychedelics, and just the future of human care. Until next time, keep creating rituals that ground you, keep embracing remedies that nourish you, trust your body. I'm Dr. Janelle. Take good care of yourself. This is Ritual Remedy, and we'll see you next episode.
Medicine flows through bone and breath, through rules and rhythm. Remember your body, remember your medicine, remember who you are. Ritual and Remedy RX. Healing becomes ceremony. Earth below, sky above, medicine rising through my blood. Where science meets spirit and healing becomes real. Body awaken, spirit alive, the medicine lives inside. This is a space for transformation, for truth, for embodied wisdom. Ritual.